Morning everyone. It's pretty early in the morning and today is the day that I'm going to start my indoor herb garden. So I'm just coming out to the greenhouse to get some planters that will be big enough to grow a decent amount of herbs over the winter. It's really windy and rainy today, so I guess I'll be working indoors. And so I just got to find some good sized planters in here and then we can go inside and I'll show you what herbs we will be growing. So I got these 6 that are pretty decent size, so I'm going to take those in and get them washed up. And then we'll be ready to start. So most of the snow that we got is already melting. It rained all night long and the temperatures were like in the low 40s, but the temperatures are now dropping. So it's supposed to be like 30 degrees by 1 o'clock this afternoon. So it's nice to see green grass again. Even though it will not stay like this for very long because we will have lots of snow all winter. I had flowers growing in this hanging basket and I think I will just take this in and use it to grow some herbs. Okay, so I had a little change of plans. I decided to not start my herbs in the bigger containers first. I decided to use the seed starting cells instead. That way I could just transplant them into the bigger containers. That way I can kind of control how many are in each container so that it's not overfull. So right now I am basically, you can see, in an unfinished room, and this is a room that we had added on because we put a small addition on of a living room and 2 bedrooms. And this is one of the bedrooms. And this is one that I wasn't sure what I was going to use it for, whether I was going to use it for a plant room or a pantry. And I still keep going back and forth. But I really think that I could do both. But for right now, I'm just going to use it as a plant room to get started because I have a lot of work to do. This is kind of like my winter project of getting this room so we have some more mudding and taping to do and a lot of sanding, and then I'll be able to paint and put flooring in. What I like about this room is it has a nice south-facing window in it, and the south-facing window is really great to have on sunny days. But since we live in New York and we have 6 months where the sun hardly ever shines, I have a grow light up here that I will be using. I'll probably just put like some tables in so that the herbs can have more light. And when I start seeds in the spring, I will also have it already all set up. So I have my little box that I keep all my seeds in. And so we are going to start some different herbs today. These are my seeds that were actually left over from this last year. So I decided to go ahead and use them up. Let's see what I got. There was, oh, there it is. Okay, so I'm going to grow some chamomile because I love chamomile tea. And these seeds I actually got from Emma Gardner, who I love it. I love their seeds. They are really, really good. They have a great germination rate. And I also got some thyme, some peppermint, oregano, and I got basil and chives. I also have, I got a few rosemary seeds left. Well, actually, there's only like one. Okay. So this is one of the herb pots that I grew over the summer. And so I just have some lavender in here, which is kind of growing its own way here. And then I have some nice rosemary, some sage, and some more lavender. So I had this outside, so I figured that I would bring it in and keep growing it through the winter. So the other day when I was in the greenhouse and I decided to bring my lettuce in that I had started out there, it just feels like it kind of got ruined by the frost. But you know, I'm gonna see if it comes back and see how it does after a couple of weeks. So okay, so I got some soil mix and I'm just gonna fill all these little things up with it. And then I'm going to plant my seeds. Okay, so I got all my seed cells all filled up with soil. And so the first one that we're going to plant is some basil. All right, so I'm just gonna sprinkle the basil seeds on top of the soil. I just figured I'd use all these seed packets that I already had opened from stuff that I put in the garden this year. So I just spread them out and I don't really worry about it. I just throw them in there. I can thin them out later when I transplant them into bigger pots. Okay, so then you just want to cover them with a little bit of soil. They don't need a lot because they're just really, really tiny seeds. And basil will usually germinate pretty quickly. And all the herbs just smell so good growing inside. And it's such a relief in the winter because, you know, it's so cold, you don't see anything green growing outside here, and it's just nice to have some plants growing. Okay, so I'm just gonna pack them down. So I water all of my plants from the bottom, so I just put them like in an old metal pan with some water, and this soil will just soak up the water and get the seeds nice and wet, and then they'll be ready to go. All right, the next one I'm gonna do is chamomile, which is great because I love to save the flowers, make teas with it. It's really good for so many things, and plus it's just really nice to have some flowers growing too in the winter. And you know, chamomile is in the daisy family, so they're a really pretty flower. And they're very beneficial for your health also. Like they help all kinds of things like hay fever and inflammation and all kinds of things. And one thing I found with chamomile is that it germinates super, super quickly. And I love buying seeds from M.I. Gardener because they are just really, really good seeds. And they're cheap. They're only 99 cents a pack, so you really can't beat that. So I'm so glad that I'm going to use all of them up, because that way next year I'll get new ones and no seeds go to waste. Okay, so they say that you do not need to cover your chamomile seeds with soil because they need light to germinate. But I have found that when I do that with a lot of plants, that it doesn't really germinate very good. I've done that with celery because I heard that it works with celery, but it didn't work for me at all. So even with the chamomile, even though they say that, I still put a little tiny bit of soil over the top of them. And you can label these, like put popsicle sticks or something in so you know what they are, but I'm not gonna do that because I'll know what they are when they come up. So I'm just putting a little bit of soil, not too much on the top, just enough to, you know, just press it down, put it in the water, and wait for them to germinate. All right, so up next, I'm going to plant some peppermint. I love growing peppermint. It looks so pretty when you're growing it. And last year, I had used it to make some homemade soap, and it just smelled so good, and it gave the soap like a really, really pretty color. So we are going to grow that. Put a tiny bit of soil over the top. We don't want those big clumps on top of our little tiny seeds. I just throw them out. Yeah, I'm really excited about making this plant room because I go crazy in the wintertime without having like anything to grow, because I love to garden and I'm really, really bored without it. And plus, redoing this room will keep me busy during the wintertime and give me something else to do. I gotta get mudding and taping and sanding, which I hate that part. I hate the sanding part. All right, so now we're gonna move on to some thyme, which I did use a lot of these seeds in the garden, so I don't have like a ton. But one of my favorite things to do is actually shop for seeds. I love buying seeds and trying new varieties of things every year. Okay, so that is done, and those just need to be watered. And then for our last one that we have here, I think, let me see how much oregano I actually have in here. Oh, that one's empty too. And rosemary. Okay, so I guess we're gonna go with some chives. Which I love chives. I love the smell of them. I love putting them in lots of different dishes that I make. I don't know how big they'll get inside, but outside they just produce a really, really pretty purple flower. And they will come back every year, like when you plant them outside in your garden, they will come back every year. even here where it's freezing cold, they still come up every single year. So it's really cool. Oops. All right. Oh, we're gonna cover them with just a little bit of soil. And I'm gonna grab some more, I'll be right back. All right, put some more soil on. It's kind of good that this room isn't finished because I actually make such a mess on the floor with this dirt. So I'm not actually sure what kind of flooring I will actually go with for this. Okay, so all of our trays are planted and we will have some fresh herbs to grow for the winter months. I know this room looks awful on video, but it will look better. And as soon as I'm done with it, which is gonna take some time. I have so many projects going on at once that feels like I'm never gonna get anything done. So the floor in this room is cement still because we poured cement down for the flooring. So, like I said, I don't know what flooring I'll go with for this room, but look at all the sanding I have to do and the mudding and the taping. I know my husband will help me with a lot of it, but if I don't start on the sanding, then we're never gonna get done. And I have all my pumpkins down here. Some of them didn't ripen completely, but some of them did, and I'm going to make some pumpkin puree this week for my pies for Thanksgiving. And then also I do have a plant growing. It's a Christmas cactus, and it was actually a piece of my grandma's Christmas cactus that I just started and few years ago, and it's doing good. I just transplanted it to a bigger pot because it was so root bound. So yeah, I just been actually using this room for extra storage and stuff. And so my grow light is actually really nice. I don't know what kind it is or anything, but it really works great for your plants. So anyway, this is Thanksgiving week, and so we'll be really busy preparing pies and turkey and all that good stuff. And so I'm hoping to get another video out this week, and I want to thank all my new subscribers for joining me, and I appreciate you all, and I hope you all have a blessed day, and please like and subscribe, and I will see you again soon. So growing some indoor herbs during the winter is a great way to get some extra nutrition into your foods, and it gives you a lot of greens to look at, something to do, especially if you live in a cold climate and you can't grow anything outside whatsoever. Like even here, like I can't grow like in a grow tunnel, nothing will work because it will literally, everything will freeze. It is impossible to grow outside. So I am going to continue growing inside for the winter.